Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Schroeder. I'm a brand strategist and work tech advisor, and I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes talking about flow killers at work, the hidden costs in terms of mental health and organizational performance, and what companies can do to improve flow across the business. Now, what is flow and why do we care? Well, flow is a really positive mental state. It's a state in which you can do your best work, you can do deep work. Someone's very engaged in their activity, they're feeling energized and focused. When we describe how engaged employees approach their work, we're basically describing a flow state. Now, as we know, there are a number of flow killers at work. For example, delays. Employees spend up to 5 hours a week just waiting for approvals, waiting for input, waiting for support that they need to progress their work. Interruptions are flow killers. An interruption may be quite short, but it takes 23 minutes and a bit to refocus after every single interruption. So you don't get right back into that flow state where you're doing your best work. And meetings are another flow killer. 67% of employees surveyed complained that they're spending too much time in meetings and that this is actually holding them back and keeping them from being productive at work. Now, the biggest flow killer of all is busy work or work about work. Now, this is stuff like replying to emails or email strings, replying to messaging pings, attending meetings where maybe the meeting didn't really need to happen or it didn't need to be that long, or you didn't need to be there, chasing colleagues for information and input and support, waiting for feedback and approvals, searching for files and documents, searching in different systems, duplicating efforts, and logging on to different applications. Now, this last one is really concerning. Did you know that employees, the average employee, is switching between applications as many as 1,100 times a day? That's every 36 seconds on a 10-hour workday. Think about all the applications that your employees have to work with. They've got their finance applications and their HR applications and their work applications and their messaging applications. And I could go on, but you get the idea. It's a lot of applications, and you can't do all of your work or all the things you need to do in just one. So companies have to log on between all these different applications, and that, of course, is a huge flow killer. All of these interruptions, they may be small in themselves, but they have a cumulative effect on the employee. First of all, there's the interruption itself, and you lose focus, and it's going to take you time to get your focus back. This is creating delays and downtime, work that could be done but isn't being done because you're not focused or you're being involved with something that's interrupted you. This downtime has an opportunity cost to the business that you could actually measure, and you'd probably be surprised at how high it is. And there is also the underlying frustration of employees who are interrupted, unable to achieve or maintain a flow state, and unable to feel that they are progressing their work. Now, what can companies do to improve flow at work? There are a number of things, some of them quite simple, that companies can do to dramatically improve flow, performance, and mental well-being at work. The first is creating organizational awareness. Now, employee surveys can be a great first line of information gathering to find out where the real flow killers are and whether employees feel like they are spending too much time in meetings or logging onto too many applications. So getting a clear picture of what's really going on. The second is creating executive attention, making sure that leaders understand the cost of interruptions. They understand the cost of long, poorly organized meetings. They understand the cost of fire drills, and creating just the awareness. The second is developing leaders to minimize distraction and flow. So first of all is time and meeting management, especially in a hybrid environment. This becomes ultra important because now people are meeting with Zoom and they're not, this is also fatiguing. So having great time and meeting management skills isn't a luxury for everyone in the business. The second is creating psychological safety and inclusion, because then people feel that they can contribute, they feel safe, they feel that if they do have a problem with time management, they're able to say so. And this becomes very important as well. It's hard to do your best work if you don't feel psychologically safe. The second is making sure, especially if you've got people working remotely, that every leader in the business has a basic grounding in the differences that what it takes to successfully lead a team remotely, which not all leaders have done before. And the third area is work design. First of all, automating tasks that can be automated. That's a great one, but also making sure that when you do that, you have an integrated workflow rather than a choppy workflow that crosses different applications, forcing people to log on to these different applications, as we said. So integrated end-to-end workflows is super important. And looking into surfacing information to where work actually happens. A manager may have to log on to an HR solution to approve vacations, or a finance solution to approve expenses, but this isn't where they're doing their work. So that absolutely represents an interruption or a flow buster. And the biggest impact of all would be to implement meeting-free days. MIT did some really interesting research and found that if companies can replace 60% of meetings with better ways of communicating, more efficient ways of communicating, maybe it's a project management tool, this increases cooperation. Fewer meetings increases cooperations, because if you're always in meetings, you don't have time to cooperate, and improves employees' well-being across the dimensions of psychological, physical, and mental well-being. So if you just take 3 days of meetings out of the mix, it's going to have a great boosting effect on flow and mental health in the business. There are enough distractions in the world and in the workplace, and we can't eliminate all of them, but we can be smarter and more intentional about how we work and how we use technology at work. Thank you for listening. Please like or subscribe if you'd like to hear more about maximizing performance and well-being at work. Have a great day and go with the flow.